Code Talkers. Introduction. The date is February 19, 1945. A group of U.S. Marines reaches the beach of Tsushima Island in the Pacific Ocean. All will be lost if the enemy learns their plans, but the Marines have a secret code. They can transmit messages that no one else can understand. Philip Johnston's bright idea by 1942, the United States had entered World War II. The U.S. military was sending code messages between groups of soldiers to keep them safe and ready to fight. However, the enemy was getting to hold. However, the enemy was getting hold of those messages and was very good at breaking U.S. codes. In some cases, this led to many American deaths. Philip Johnson contacted the military about using a code based on Navajo. Johnson had lived around Navajo people as a child. He knew that few people outside the tribe understood the Navajo language. He also knew that Navajo was a hidden language. It was only spoken and had no written symbols. These things made Navajos perfect for the top secret message. The U.S. military agreed to try it. Mysterious message. Sending hidden message dates back to ancient times. Early on, only the sender and the person get the message would know how the message was hidden. Sometimes they used invisible ink, which seemed to disappear once it put to paper. Later, heat or chemicals would make the ink invisible so the message could be read. At other times, the sender would shave and then tattoo words on a man's head. Once his hair grew back and covered the message. He traveled to visit the person the message was for. That person would shave his head to read the message. With most modern coding systems, the message itself is not hidden, but its meaning is. Even if the message falls into enemies' hands, the reader must know the code in order to understand it. At the start of World War II, the American military changed code all the time, yet all over and over. Their efforts failed. Many Japanese students had learned American English in the United States. The Japanese code breakers could break messages almost as quickly as the Americans sent them. Why Navajo? The idea of using a native people language was not new. During World War I, the United States had used several native people's language to transmit secret messages. So why not use those same codes during World War II? After World War I, both Germany and Japan had sent students to the United States. They had learned those native people language. However, any students would have a hard time learning Navajo. It belonged to a different family of languages than many other native peoples. Language. The Marines believed that no one outside the country would understand the Navajo code. Communicating in code. 29 Navajo soldiers helped come up with a system for coding messages based on their language. The coding system has two parts. The first part used Navajo words for stand English letters. For example, the Navajo word for bear is shush, so the word shush was used for the letter B. The second part of the system gave new military meanings to a list of 211 Navajo words. The Navajo words used were often based on the appearance or job of each one described. For example, owl means observation plane. The Navajo word for shark means destroyer, a type of warship. A submarine was called an ironfish. Navajo people were taught from an early age to listen and learn the stories of their people. The Navajo soldiers had no problem learning the new code. When they took a rest to see how well they could transmit radio messages, the military was amazed. The code talkers could do in seconds what other codes need half an hour to do. The military quickly started using code and began training more code talkers. Many Navajo men were eager to serve. In total, more than 400 Navajo code talkers served brilliantly in the Pacific, one of the biggest battles of the world was the Battle of Iwo Jima. During it, 6 code talkers sent and received more than 800 messages in the heat of combat without a single arrow. One of those 6, Kev Little said, "My weapon was my language, and that language probably saved countless lives." Unsung heroes. Unsung heroes. The Japanese could not make sense of the codes. Even after Japanese gave up on September 2, 1945, the code stayed secret. The code talkers could not talk out their work. They remained silent for years. They also returned to hard lives after the war. For many who had been soldiers, jobs were tough to find, and native people often faced discrimination. Navajo and other tribes in Arizona and New Mexico could not vote until 1948. Tribes in Utah could not vote until 1957. Finally, in 1968, the silence around Code Talkers program ended. Then the world learned about the amazing work of those men. To this day, the Navajo Code is the only spoken military code that had never been broken.
Good job!